Hi, how are you guys today? This is Ralph Ahun on our show, on our favorite show, Getting to Know You. And today we're going to be welcoming a very interesting person that has a story to share. A very interesting, a very compelling story to share. So I hope you guys stay tuned in. I hope you guys, oh, by the way, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am having a wonderful day. Everything is going perfectly. So without not wasting time, let's dive into our story. Thank you very much and see you in a few seconds. Bye. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for being on our show. I'm really glad that you're here because I know you have a very busy schedule and you know you're a very important person in the community. So I thank you for being on our show. So the principle of our show is just getting to know people. So we're just gonna dive right into it. So tell us your name, please.
My name is TIA Bohannon.
Oh, okay, that's a very interesting name. So you are also a mother of how many kids?
I'm a mother of 4.
Okay.
But I raised 7.
Oh, okay. But do you do anything else?
I'm a youth director as well.
Where?
At the church that I attend, New Beginnings Christian Center in Council Bluff, 1100 Street, North Harrison Street, Council Bluff.
All right.
We'll love to see you there. Services at 11 o'clock a.m.
Okay. That's very interesting. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I come from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Both my parents were in the ministry. They're both still in the ministry, but they don't, it's not really full-time, but they both are still in the ministry. Was the youngest of 6 children, and yeah.
Was it hard being the youngest of 6 children?
It wasn't hard being the youngest of 6 children because we were close as a family. We were a close family. I just had challenges with one of my siblings.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. Very interesting because in my family we're only 2, so we don't have to do this. So that's very interesting. So the next question that I'm going to ask you is, can you share your experience being an African American in the U.S.?
It's definitely different. I've noticed. Growing up, we traveled from different places, so I've been around this country, to mostly in the Midwest, but I've been down to the South as well. There's differences. Like, I've had situations where I've been sitting in my car in white neighborhoods and have had cops called on me, or incidences where I may have went to the school and tried to check up on my children, or there may have been an incident, I've had the cops called on me. I see a lot of differences as far as what you want to gain in life. You know, for instance, if I talk about, there's this particular woman who she was a white woman and she was abusing her child, right? And she kind of didn't get into much trouble. Whereas I seen another one of my friends who was a black woman who whooped their child. She whooped her child. She didn't beat her child, but she overly whooped it. Like, she shouldn't have done as excessively as she done, but the other white mother was intentionally abusing her child, and the black mother went to jail for a long time for it, and had to register like as a sex offender, and had just a lot of troubles with that. I noticed opportunity-wise is but being an African American woman and being a single mother, on top of that, you have more challenges as far as like just getting ahead in life. People kind of take you as a joke, you know, even if they're not your own biological children. And in your heart, you know, you probably feel like you're doing something for the greater good of someone. People don't see it like that, you know. So when it comes to like getting homes or whatever, it's always a challenge because they automatically assume, you know, you're not going to pay your rent. You're just going to damage their home. It's hard to get loans, you know. Like, I can have a 700 credit score and have more loops to go through, where then my friend who may even have like a 640 can just go and get a loan as a white woman.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow, this is what you're telling me is very chaotic, but it's very interesting too. But the next question I'm coming to is this. Based on everything you have just told me, where do you see yourself in the next 5 coming years?
I would definitely like to have been further along in my child care licenses and facility. That's one of the things that I'm working on right now. Would love to see growth in my youth department, having more teachers and just having that. Also, with that being said, starting the academy within the church and starting, we're trying to get everyone that wants to homeschool their children and don't necessarily like the public teachings, because it's gotten so away from biblical teachings, and they're teaching more just like even when it comes to sexuality, they're teaching children it's okay to be like homosexual and stuff like that, and it's against my belief. I don't mistreat people that choose to be that way. I love them no differently, but I don't want my child to be taught that. So there's a lot of people that within my church, a lot of parents, it's like, you know, they don't want to be within that. So I definitely want to have years in that, in the academy, years into the child care, and personally just be further along personally, maybe have my house and just a family and stuff like that.
All right. Okay, so this is very interesting, everything you're saying. So the next question I have to ask you is very primordial. If you were to give your 21-year-old self, like if you were to meet yourself again at the age of 21, what advice would you give yourself?
I would tell myself to love myself more, get to know myself more, not try to, you know, when you grow up in a big family and you grow up in a broken family on top of that, because children need attention. A lot of people don't think that. So when we were growing up, especially like in some settings, it's always go downstairs, go to the basement, you know, the children are kind of like pushed aside, go play with the other kids, and the parents are there. And so sometimes children don't get that interaction that they need, and they don't get those reinforcements, they don't get those reassurances. And so you can grow up and you can kind of look for that in other people, and you find people who are not for you, and you find yourself stuck wondering how you got in certain situations. You find yourself stuck because you don't know who you are. I don't think that I really took the time to know myself until I was 28. And that's after all the bad stuff I felt like happened, to where I was just like, okay, who am I? What do I like? Who am I? Who do I belong to? You know, I had no sense of self-esteem, no sense of self-worth. So anybody could do whatever they want. But now I've overcome all of that, and I know who I am. So I would tell myself to ask questions more. I would get a full understanding, not easily trust people. You know, don't think that just because I have a good heart and I know that I love God, the next person do, because they could just be taken advantage.
Okay, so to conclude our show, what advice would you give people who are going to be watching this?
To love themselves and then love others like they love themselves, because the world we live in is so filled with hate and envy and jealousy. And like even today I was just thinking about a puzzle. You know, if we all take our own puzzle and work on our own puzzle, then it will make the puzzle can come. If we take our own piece and work on that piece of the puzzle, and then when it's time to bring the puzzle together, it will be together. So I take it like this: worry about yourself, focus on your job, and just be considerate of others. You know, one of the things I tell my children, you know, I give them tasks to do. For instance, I may say, okay, you go clean the room, and then you clean the clothes in the room, you clean the shoes in the room, and you clean the toys in the room. And I teach them to focus on what they're doing, because if you focus on what everybody else is doing, your task is not getting done. And then you find yourself in trouble, or even later in life just stuck because you worried about what everybody else did and you didn't worry about yourself. So worry about what God has told you to do, so that when he comes back and he says, what did you do or what I told you to do, you don't have to say, well, I was so focused on what everybody else was not doing that I didn't get my stuff done. And in the meantime, you know, love one another, you know, be considerate. When you go to do something, just take 2 seconds to say, would I want somebody to do that to me? What I want to feel, whatever this person is going to feel. And if the answer is no, maybe just asking God a different way to do things. And if it has to be that way, because we can unintentionally hurt people, being quick to apologize and humble yourself and say, I didn't mean to hurt you. this was just the circumstances, or this was the situation. But don't always put yourself first. It's easy for us to put ourselves first. It's easy to want the first slice. It's easy to want the best. But sometimes it's okay to just say, you know, I'm gonna let somebody else have it, and I can just get what's left, or, you know, I've had this already, so somebody else can enjoy it, and just share and just be kind, because it doesn't cost anything. You waste more energy being mean and hurting people than you would if you was just being kind to people.
Alright. Thank you very much for being on our show, and thank you for these very, very humbling words, and I hope we can see you next time.
For sure.
Thank you very much, and have a good day. Thank you for tuning in and watching our series and our show. This was Getting to Know You episode 2 with the person we're welcoming on the show, TIA Bohanon. She told me I made a mistake, but I'm still gonna say it. So it was a great time. I hope you guys got something out of this, and I hope you guys enjoyed her humbling words. Those were very nice words. These were very encouraging words, and like she said, if you're interested, just make sure you find your way to New Beginnings Church Ministry. You guys are gonna have a wonderful time there, and I genuinely want to thank the people who are giving me good advice, and the people who are supporting me, and the people who are willing to be on the show, because you know it takes two to build one. You know, so 1 + 1 = 1. It's truly genuine. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys next time.